Hi guys. Is it hump day? Happy hump day? Yes, I'm actually supposed to be looking for Roger from Richstone and he's on. Roger, Roger. Roger, waiting for Roger. Do you Roger this?
Oh, here I am. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Just chipper and you?
Just wonderful. Nice to see your smiling face.
Oh, look who's talking. How is your hump days? I just realized it's Wednesday. We forget these days nowadays.
You know what? I have no idea it's Wednesday. With this new environment, you just kind of wake up and keep on going. So it's a good question, but I guess Wednesday's a wonderful day. The weather's absolutely incredible. I love this. It's time
It's
for
gorgeous. I agree. It's gorgeous, and it is Wednesday. It's hump day.
Yeah.
FYI. FYI.
Good.
Well, thank you for doing this. This is
Oh my
going to
God!
be
Thank you for including me.
fun, but it's going to be very informative. And I thought it would be. I thought of Richstone and you, obviously, because I adore you. But it is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, so this is really appropriate that you talk to us.
Sure.
And you can tell us about who you are, what do you do, and what is Richstone?
Sure. The Richstone Family Center was started by B. Richstone back in 1974. Actually, it got started in Manhattan Beach, over at Ladera School at the time, which is now part of Grandview. And there were times where Alcoholics Anonymous, but there was Child Abuse Anonymous, and she got started there. And the end result was that she ended up creating a child abuse center in Hawthorne, in the small little house that one of the board members bought for $11,000. The first year, she brought in 2 clinical people who donated their time, and we served 50 children. And this last year, we now served over 2,500 children and families, and concentrating on doing prevention work for child abuse and therapy for child abuse, as well as domestic violence. So, I mean, that's really kind of a thumbnail on the services that we provide. We provide services. Our headquarters is Hawthorne. We've got an office in Torrance. We've got another office in Inglewood, Watts area, where we do a lot of work for home visitation. And so, if you look at the scope of services that we provide, certainly therapy is number one, and we do therapy individually as well as within groups. We have an after-school program for children in the community. And the neat thing about that program is that some of the children are victims of child abuse, others are not, but it gives them a chance to kind of mold together and be together and have these children have some experiences of life. At the same time, we're providing some educational background for them as an after-school program. That's kind of like the highlight of what we do. My God, you've been so supportive. You and Jerry have been over the years. And we're just trying to add a little value, to people that have just.
Well, you guys are, and that's why we support you guys in every way we can, because you guys do so much, and I see firsthand how you guys affect the kids and families in a positive way. And
I think some people don't realize how large this problem is.
It's huge.
It's huge. And one way I could describe it is I ask everybody to close your eyes and count to 10. And every 10 seconds, there's a new case of child abuse reported in the United States. Every 9 seconds, a new case of domestic violence. The two of them are so related. And every day, 5 children die because of child abuse. So it is an important thing. And now, as we're going through this incredible, unprecedented time with this crisis that's in front of us with the virus, it's even more critical. And I'm so glad that you called to talk about it, because think about these children or adults that are now confined into their living spaces here for 6 weeks now, at least. The stress that they have, first of all, being a victim of abuse, and then being in that house or that apartment, with possibly the perpetrator, it just creates more stress, and we're seeing problems coming in right now. We had while our offices are physically closed, the offices are closed, but we're providing services, and the services we're providing are through teletherapy and Zoom, and we're trying to do the best we can. But we're hearing cases already of people that are in this confined area where the stress has gotten too much, and there's been abuse. And I mean, just one yesterday, Juliet, our clinical director, was talking about a couple with kids at the house. They've been confined now for about a month, and the stress and the pressure were on them, and they've had their challenges before. And apparently, one night, the mother got in an argument in front of the children with her partner and slapped him. So therefore, once we find out about it, we have to report it to the Department of Children and Family Services, and there's a whole nother case that's happened, and this confinement just creates so much additional stress. If I can kind of go on, but if you look at it now, Bobby Cagle, who is the director of the Department of Children and Family Services in the LA County, he was on the news the other day, and he said, it's really a hard time because of this situation of confinement with those victims, the children, especially. And we have found that, like, our number one referrals for child abuse comes from the schools. Well, the schools are closed down.
So you were at Mike Sullivan, and there was some good information thereafter. So maybe we can start there again.
Yeah, we talked about, Mike and I always talk about the issues, and the fact that there is lack of communications going on right now with those that are victims. We're trying to get that communications out. And you asked the question, what's the best way to handle that? And that is just to have people being aware that this problem is happening, and knowing that there's 800 numbers, and just reporting anything that they think is an issue with regard to domestic violence or child abuse, just to keep it going. And I just think if we have that information in the households of our clients and all clients of DCFS, that their awareness will help them trying to get through this difficult time as well. We're doing our best to stay in communications with all of our clients. We're getting new clients in, but this is a terrible time. It's unprecedented for us, and this is just one of the issues that's facing us, and it's one that's kind of important to us.
Very. And you also have a waiting list, right?
We do have a waiting list, and the waiting list, kind of continues to grow, but with right now knowing the referrals are down by 50% for the Department of Children and Family Services, it's not growing as bad as it could, but we're trying to attack it the best way possible. And when I say attack, that's really critical. When people come on the waiting list, this is not waiting to get on a cruise ship, waiting to get a hotel reservation. These are people in crisis, and they need help now. So we don't like a waiting list. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, we don't. What are some of the programs? I mean, now you're having to go virtual, which is so great to have that option, right?
Right.
And I imagine that's for families that are able to go virtual, right? Because not everybody really has computers and electronics.
Yeah, that's Karina. You just hit it right there. That's look, for the most part, domestic violence and child abuse is not something that happens just in lower income people and the demographics. It happens to all of us at any level, whether it's Manhattan Beach, whether it's Hawthorne or Inglewood. It happens throughout. But the majority of our clients we have found are, shall we say, demographically and income-wise lower. So they do have challenges on technology
which is something we've been working through. The schools have just done a great job, and the state of California has done a great job to make sure that the children that are now going to be homeschooled have computers or some form of technology that they can communicate. So that's really helpful. But we're finding now that, some of our clientele might not have it, and we're trying to get the necessary resources to make sure that they can communicate, whether it's teletherapy, it's Zoom, or if it's just having a phone call.
Well, so as far as like the programs, whether at the center, which you'll have to talk about, it's such a beautiful place now, or at virtually, like what kind of programs are you guys doing? Wellness, I know you guys have nutrition and obviously the treatment itself.
Right. Yeah, good question. I mean, we saw this coming together and we started planning, and the three kind of objectives I put forth to our senior management team is, number one, we want to make sure that we take good care of our employees and keep them safe. We want to keep our clients safe. I want us to be as proactive as we can, and make sure that the community is taken care of. And that was important. And we worked really hard to set up the systems to do this teletherapy and to do the Zoom. And I felt very good that we were ahead of the curve. That once we went into this about a month ago, we looked at some of the other programs that were not being able to take advantage of right now. And I'm happy to report one of the programs that we do tomorrow, we're bringing it back, is we have a food giveaway program, and it's done through Trader Joe's, and they bring some food in that we give to our clientels in the community around us. And so it's a little tough time doing it the last 3 weeks, and finally working with Trader Joe's and other people that we're often doing it tomorrow. So that's a great thing. Our kids club, the people that run our kids club have been getting supplies out to the families that are part of our kids club, because it's not just the kids, but the entire families that need support. So we've had packages that are going to them. We do a program with First Five where it's home visitations of new young parents. And we've been able to really expand that program via computers and teletherapy, and making sure that the families are taken care of. And a lot of our clinical staff, including senior management, have been getting, whether it's diapers or whatever it might be, have been home delivering them to them to make sure that the families are taken care of.
Right. What I love, because I think I've heard you say that a lot of these programs are extended to as part of the education for the parents, the mom and dad, and the dads are coming in and participating, which is a big deal because, as you know, sexual abuse and domestic abuse is such a sensitive subject. A lot of people don't know how to touch on it and talk about it. And then if it's part of the family, in the Latino family or a lot of cultures, this is really not sort of talked about. So to have the parents participate in the healing process and prevention and education is such a big deal. It's such a positive,
yes.
It's because, a lot of the kids or, whoever is enduring this pain has to kind of sit with that pain and then to not have the support. This is where the parents come in, and to participate in the way they do is amazing.
Let me tell you a cute, kind of a cute story on how this is involved around the family and the total family. And we were just talking about the Thursday giving the food away. How that came about is this, that we had the food coming in, and I get into the office relatively early in the morning, say 8:15. And I was noticing as we started this program that I would arrive at 8:15 and there might be 5 or 6 ladies out in front. And they wanted to be there first to sign up to make sure they got their food. And so that was great. And the clinical team was looking at it and say, why don't we do this? We don't give away the food till like 10 or 10:30. Why don't we do a class at 9 o'clock on nutrition. And then
That's
we're
awesome.
teaching these families, this is what it takes for having good nutrition for your family. And so they started it off, which I thought was a wonderful idea. And I snuck around to look at the first one, and I think the first one we had maybe 8 to 10 ladies there, and it was
That's
all done in Spanish at the time. And while I didn't understand Spanish, what I really was enjoying is the communications that was going on and the talking back and forth. So I saw that something was really happening there. About 2 or 3 weeks down the road, I show up one morning and I get out of the car and I'm looking in our long driveway and I go, oh my God, there's 3 ladies walking up and down, up and down. And I look at them and they're saying, oh yeah, we got to get our exercise now. So now our clinical people have told me about
that's amazing.
nutrition and health. And I'm going, way to go. So now the classes have kind of grown to about, say, 20 to 25 people. And so one day, I don't have any caffeine. I live on 1 Diet Coke a day. So I'm walking in the lobby with my Diet Coke. And the ladies look up and they said, oh, Mr. VR, that's that Diet Coke. That's really bad for you. So I'm thinking, oh my God, they're learning everything here. But the reason to tell the story is what has happened there is that we have on Saturdays, we're open on Saturdays, and we have like once a month, we have a playtime with the families. And the playtime with the families, we're finding that these ladies that come in for the food are now bringing the kids and the husbands in on Saturday, and they're all reacting. So it's a growth, and it's working. And so we're happy to see that. Going back to your point about the importance of educating a family and a family unit. That was my long-winded answer. Yeah, it is.
You did a good job. Well, it's just, I mean, just in general, to kind of have some kind of normalcy in the household, family unity and communication is key. And then, when a family or somebody in the unit is enduring this and they may not know, it's important to educate everybody.
Absolutely.
And so I'm so excited that you guys, it expanded to what you just explained to,
Yeah.
one little step at a time. You guys did one little thing and you saw something missing and it grew into something else, and those are the best ways to sort of learn how to expand on what people need and what they're
Absolutely.
hungry for.
And we
Yeah.
got to be flexible. We got to be flexible and fluid and continue to learn. We ourselves are learning to see how we can best, serve the community, and that's important.
So unfortunately, being that this is Prevention Month, you guys usually have a yearly peer-to-peer walk, which is a big fundraiser.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
canceled due to current times. Will you guys be postponing it, or we just kind of
We're,
lost that?
right now, we considered to postpone. I mean, it's one of our big fundraisers of the year, as you
Yeah.
know, and it really it hurts. But we've been supported by some of our good foundations. They know what's happening, and they're there to help support us. But we've postponed it. We hope to do it, end of September, October. But we just have to see what's going to happen with this and what can happen. I think our governor's doing a great job. But like he says, the light switch is not going to go on just like that. It's going to be kind of a rolling barrage. So we're keeping our fingers on it, but we're hoping, because that's a big fundraiser. We have another one in the end of August, which is our big beach party. So I don't know what condition that's going to be in, or what state that's going to take place. So we're look, we're always looking for for donations and financial support. I'm really happy to report that if you look at us financially, this is something that's been kind of one of our charters is we have no more than half of our money comes from the government funding. The other half we raise ourselves. And it puts pressure on us, but it also allows us to know that we can continue services when there are some downtimes. And we've been so blessed by having, great partners that like a Mike Sullivan, LA Car guy, Connecticut, Wells Fargo. They're always there for us and helping us, and we're always open for new partnerships, of course. And so yeah, yes, financially it's hurting right now. We've got people stepping up, which we really appreciate it. And we also know that it's costing us a little more money when we're starting to do all this teletherapy and Zoom. There's an out-of-pocket cost. So our ears are always open. And if anything, I love to get people to the center. As you know, the center, you can talk about the center, but for them to see it in action is a lot better than having me talk about it.
Yes, it is. Well, and you have such a great support within the people on the board. I know everybody really care. Everybody there is not, this is not an easy task. The goal is to have a lot more hearts that are being mended. But thankfully, everybody in your team, I know them that they really mean what they do. They're such support and they care for the kids. It's all for the center and to heal these broken hearts out there. And so you're lucky to have such a great support and great team.
I agree. I tell you what, if you start looking at the way Richstone was formed, you've got a board of directors that's second to none. And I was part of the board before I took this position on since the mid 1980s. A lot of people have stayed on the board since then because they're so committed to the mission. The employees, the staff is second to none. The volunteers are second to none, and our funders are just incredible to us. So, with that being said, I'm very happy and content with the model that we have.
It's awesome. A little bit, I just have a quick question regarding like the treatments now that the programs that are done virtually. How are the kids responding to them, or how are the patients, or lack of better words, sort of accepting that? Because it's such a private thing,
Yeah, we call them clients, and it is very private. On purpose, I don't know the clients. We keep it very, very confidential. I'll get reports from the clinical side, but they've been responding very well. There's been some adjustments that we've had to make. That all of a sudden you're put into a whole new environment that you haven't done before. So there's some adjustments we've had to make. But all in all, the clinical team is reporting they're very open, and they're reporting that they love the communications and are asking for more communications. So that's a positive thing. We're happy with what we're doing, but at the same point in time, we're learning every day about how we can improve things, and that goes on.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so excited to like participate in any way that we can, and I will have how do people reach out to you guys for any, like if they want to do anything? How do people know about opportunities, volunteer opportunities, or whatever it is that supports you guys?
Certainly, go to our website, richstonefamily.org, and there's a place where it says contact us. Absolutely do it. Call Richstone, and ask for me on extension 114, or ask for Allison extension 137. Email, there's email communications that you can get on the website, and the doors are always open. And then also social media, as you know, right now is wide open for us. And so variety of different ways.
I think you touched on it a little bit before, but can you share any good cases, any positive sort of results, any just happy endings with some of the kids? Yeah, I think you have that beautiful story of my heart was broken, and you made it. Yeah, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah, that's a cute story, and it's one that kind of involves me at the time. I was on the board of directors, and we were giving a tour Dorothy Courtney was the executive director, and we were giving a tour to a bank president. And as we're going through the tour, I noticed that there, on a wall of this counselor's office, there's a sign that says, "My heart was broken, but thanks to you, you mended it." And I went to Dorothy. I said, "Dorothy, what is this?" And she goes, "God, I don't know." And so about I don't know, a couple of weeks later, she says, "You got to come down here. I got to show you this." So I go down, and what it was is this little girl came in, and she had been abused. As she's been abused, the counselor was trying to talk to her, and she wouldn't talk, and she couldn't get her to respond. And she said, "Well, look, can you draw something? Draw something." So she drew this heart, and she took this heart, and then she tore up all these pieces of paper. And she said to the therapist, she said, "My heart's broken." And the therapist collected all the little papers and put it in a little envelope and started talking to her via paper. And then they started talking to her physically. So one day she comes in and she asks the little girl, "Hey, how you doing?" She goes, "I'm doing good." And she said, "Did you save the heart?" She goes, "I did save the heart." She goes, "Let me see the heart." So they take out the heart, and she says, "Do you have any Scotch tape?" She goes, "Yeah." So the little girl takes the Scotch tape out, and she tapes the whole heart back together. I get emotional over the whole thing. But it's such a great story. And she tapes the whole heart back together, and she wrote on it, "You mended my heart." So that's a great story.
And that's what you guys do.
That's it.
That's what you guys do. You made a little. Oh, do you have a tissue somewhere nearby? How are you doing? You
I love telling that story, but every time I tell the story, I get so emotional.
Oh, that's why I adore you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, those kind of stories just keep you speechless. There's not a lot one can say, you know.
Yeah.
You guys are there doing the right thing for these kiddos and families that need mending.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big need out there, Karina, as you know, and you know, you've been with us for so many years that there's a big need out there, and that need is universal. And you know, we're just one of the players, and we're trying to do the best we can. But we're blessed with a lot of great support, and that's important. And thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for you. And I can't wait to see you guys after.
Oh, I can't wait to get out of our prisons here at the house.
I'm so over it. I'm so over it. But we'll be in touch. And
All right.
I put the link of Richstone Family Center
Great.
on my bio, but anybody can go to it. RichstoneFamily.org, or am I saying it wrong?
.org.
.org, yeah. RichstoneFamily.org.
You got it.
And thank you. We adore
Thank you, Karina.
guys.
Thank you for doing this, my dear.
So fun.
All right.
Come on. Talk to you soon.
Bye.